I work with a number of investors, and the statement that I hear from them most often is this: far too many aspiring entrepreneurs will never get their business off the ground because they are not adequately prepared to secure funding. Now, most of these business owners have a great idea and a great concept. Many have a patent. They all have great industry knowledge, and they might even have a first-class team. What they don't have is money. And most of them aren't going to get money because they simply don't understand or have the experience to play the game. Okay, let me give you an illustration here. I was a high-tech executive for 25 years. And we did a project in Louisiana with some oil companies. And I was going to be there over the weekend, so some of the executives said, we're going to take you out on a boat ride through the Everglades. Okay, so I get there, get on the big flat boat with the big fan you see on TV all the time. And then I realized that Everglades is code for alligator-infested swamps. And so one of the executives must have saw the panic look in my eyes, and he said, don't worry, Frank, we have a guide that will be on the boat here in about 2 minutes. And then he said something I'll never forget. He said to me, I have lived in Louisiana my entire life, and I never go into the Everglades without a guide. 2 reasons. First, they know what they're doing and they know where they're going. And second, and more importantly, they know where not to go and what not to do. And then he said, every year, people come down here, they don't want to pay for the guidance or the experience, they get in the water and they find themselves in trouble. And unfortunately, sometimes the alligators win. Now I hear this same story from I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs who say, I don't need help or guidance or assistance, we're smart, we'll figure this out ourselves. And then they take all their money and throw it down a bunch of rabbit holes trying to come up with a cohesive plan, which they don't ever get to. So as they're just about out of money from the I can do it myself model, they realize, oh my God, I need help. They call me, and by that time, the alligators have already won. Investors like to do business with people they know and they trust. They trust people who work with an entrepreneur early in the process and vet the opportunity to the right investor. They trust people who can cut through all the hype and lay out the facts and secure the investment agreement that works for the business and the investor. And that's much harder than you would imagine. And they trust people who will stay and guide the business once the money has been secured. Okay, that's what they're looking for. So when people approach us, there's 5 things that we talk about, all right, before we even consider an investor. Number 1, how'd you get here? Most people say, oh, I bootstrapped this. And as I've said to Kimberly many times, bootstrapping is a great story if you ever get on Oprah. But if you're talking to an investor, bootstrapping says you have no money and you're wasting my time. So the first question we ask is, do you have the money to pay someone like our company to guide you through the swamp? If no, we wish you the best. If yes, let's move to the next step. Next step is we create a strategy. It says, why are you doing this and what's the value? After that, we build you a plan which corresponds to your strategy, then branding and marketing, so we differentiate you from the herd. And then finally, the investor strategy, where we justify the assumptions. We determine how much money you need, when do you need it, what are you going to do with it, and when are you going to be profitable? When do you project to be profitable? Now, those are the 5 things an investor wants to hear. They don't care about anything else, and they want to hear it from someone they know and they trust. And that someone they know and they trust is not you, the business owner, because they don't know you. So the first thing I always say to people is strongly suggest contract with somebody early who can guide you through the swamp or run the risk of the alligators winning. Let me end with this. The secret to walking on water is to know where the rocks are. We can show you where the rocks are. Thank you.